Good evening, I'm Jeff Lyons. Welcome to the 14 First Alert Weather Show at 9 o'clock. We stream every night at 9, of course, to give you a weather forecast and an extended one at that, and give you the chance to ask questions. You can do that on the 14 News Facebook page, and we'll check out what's on your mind here in just a few minutes. I should have had a little drink of water before we started this. There we go. All right, let's look at what's ahead. And of course, tomorrow is an alert day, first alert weather day. We are anticipating a couple of rounds of thunderstorms. I just looked at some of the late model data, and I'll share that with you here in a moment. But essentially, we have two clusters of storms possible. The first one between noon and about 3 that will affect primarily the northern half of the tri-state. Late models here this evening still showing storms developing up around Fairfield and more toward Vincennes and then out of our viewing area to the north. And then a second round will come in late in the afternoon into the evening between 4 and 11. There will be a lower threat, and these will be even more widely scattered. This is not going to be like an outbreak where everybody gets severe weather, but rather kind of a warning here and a severe storm there type situation. So isolated, the coverage not universal, and there are places in the tri-state that may not get any rain or very little tomorrow. Wind, hail, and of course tornadoes are the primary threats. The severe the Storm Prediction Center, that is old school. I almost said the Severe Storms Forecast Center, which it has not been that since about 1992. But anyway, same entity, the Storm Prediction Center, is showing the elevated risk, or level 2 on a scale of 5 risk for severe weather, basically over the northern half of the tri-state. It does include western Kentucky. We think, though, that the storms that move across our southern edge will be more widespread or scattered and less severe because of the timing. The tornado threat is at 5%. That's elevated, of course, which is why the alert day, and probably we'll see a tornado watch of some type or a severe thunderstorm watch tomorrow. Although, having said that, if we don't have a lot of storms, sometimes the Storm Prediction Center doesn't issue a watch. It'll just kind of depend on how things shake out tomorrow. But in either case, we will have a few storms that will likely reach severe limits tomorrow. And you'll notice that the tornado threat is kind of weighted more toward the north. Terre Haute, Indy are in there, as well as the edge of the tri-state here to the south. Damaging wind threat kind of mirrors the tornado threat zone, and it is at 15%, and that number is pretty standard when we have a slight risk. In fact, that is one of the criteria to have a slight risk or a level 2 out of 5 risk for the tri-state. After we get through the storms tomorrow, we really plunge over the weekend with temps falling back into the 30s and lows well below freezing there to start next week. Severe parameters have not changed a whole lot. Our dew points will be near 60 across the tri-state. Still some question marks on whether that moisture will make it this far north. Winds will be gusty, maybe 30 to 40 miles per hour at the peak, and that would be during the afternoon and evening just ahead of the front. Potential energy still showing up out there as well. After all, we will have temperatures in the 60s. And when you raise that air up into the atmosphere and cool it rapidly and add a little wind shear in there, then you can get severe thunderstorms. And speaking of wind shear, we have plenty of that with and along the cold front as it comes through right through here. It should be diminishing greatly by late Thursday night. Low-level jet stream showing up mainly to our southeast, so that could enhance the development of storms in that second round that will come during the evening hours. And let's see we had the supercell threat index predictably showing up over the tri-state there. So the only other thing would be the tornado threat zone, and it is also showing up over the region here during the afternoon and evening before diminishing with the passage of the front. So just to kind of sum it all up here, or tie it up with a bow, again, we're expecting 2 rounds with potential severe weather, one around noon to 3 and the other one in the evening, 6, 7, 8, 9 up in there. scattered threat, meaning we're not going to see, one of those like squall lines where everybody's under a warning, but it'll kind of be scattered shot. And we could even get like a cluster of storms and a few warnings and some severe weather reports, and it moves out, and that'll be it. So there's not much confidence in just how many storms we will get in this environment. It will be very windy and warm with near record highs. The record, I think, for tomorrow is 74. So we'll be close. We should get up to about 70, especially over our western Kentucky counties. And there may be some sunshine out there through the morning. We are clear right now, after all, and it'll take a while for those clouds to move back in. Right now we're at 56 degrees, and the dew point's at 51. We may see a little patchy fog overnight as the temperature drops close to the dew point there. For today, we are actually tying now with our warmest day for February at 69 and warmest temperature for the year. Still no rain this week. Our drought situation continues to increase or worsen around the area with the lack of rainfall. This is on top of a couple of months now where we've had below normal rain. The bigger picture here showing snow up around Minneapolis there through Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, and then just a broad area of moisture moving in from the Gulf that will support those storms a little later on tomorrow. The low pressure responsible for that will continue to move in. The warm front will actually be the focus for the first round of storms, the cold front then the second. And the question mark always is, will the atmosphere be too worked over, especially if we get storms early, to recover and have a second round in the evening? Again, high pressure builds back in, our winds turn to the northwest, and we're back down to cool temperatures. Maybe another shot of rain on Saturday, just some scattered showers, possibly mixing with some snow flurries as the colder air wraps in, and then we're in for a dry start next week. The rain potential with this system, not impressive at all, maybe 1/4 of an inch on average around the area. The European model is even stingier with the rainfall, and it wouldn't surprise me if there are some counties out there that get very little, if any, rain, if the storms in fact become more scattered in nature. And you see that 1/4 inch rain potential there on the European. We will drop to 52 tonight, patchy fog possible, and then tomorrow those storms develop in the afternoon and evening, high temperature of around 70. The next 7 days then pull our temperature back down to earth, right where it should be and actually below over the weekend, and then we kind of bubble back up into the mid-40s to near 50 by the middle of next week. The temperature outlook much warmer than normal still through the 4th of March, and also wetter than normal upstream from us along the Ohio River. Leo sent a picture here of an Aussie doodle, so we'll let you look at that for a minute. Always interesting there with the blue and the brown eye. All right, I will look at your questions now. Cassie Brooks, so not ready for tomorrow. Well, like I said, I don't think this is going to be one of those, spend the night in the basement kind of, or spend the day in the basement kind of things. It'll come and go pretty quickly, and we're expecting kind of scattered thunderstorms, mostly normal storms, Zach Seats saying there. And that's kind of what I think on this. Jeanette Rice, hopefully Mrs. Poseyville. Well, yes, we don't want any ville to get hit, Posey or other. Lois Armitage coming back to Evansville from Mitchell. Any word about timing for this area? Yeah, it'll be in the, especially up there in Mitchell, you're going to be in Lawrence County. I think that's Lawrence County, yeah, by Bedford. Anyway, north, you will probably see the storms in the early afternoon. Accounting for the time change there, you're probably looking at 1 to 4, roughly in there. Up around Mitchell. Sandra's watching, Sandra Young. Laura Gray got off at 4 and praying it won't get bad. It won't for the most part. In fact, actually, for once, Laura, Dawson Springs is out of that level 2 risk. You're in the lower risk zone, and we really think that the most favorable part of the atmosphere for severe weather is north of here. So, the farther south you go for a change, the lesser the threat as it looks today. Lucas Sigler, do I think it'll get bad in Providence? Well, the same thing I told Laura. You're down there in Webster County, again, just at the edge of that risk zone. Emma's watching. Hillary Ferrand is watching. All right, Ryan Nance. Question is, am I the GOAT? Am I the GOAT? Well, I guess that's up to you all to decide. I've been called an old goat before, but I don't think it was for the same reason that, that you think. Dan Lee, so 70 storm snow showers, all within a couple of days. Yeah, pretty much. You know, spring's always, or late winter, early spring's always kind of a wild ride around here. Karen Duckworth, what time for Morganfield for both storms? Karen, I think for Morganfield, again, you're south there down in Union County, it will more likely be the afternoon round, that 4 to 8 p.m. Stuff. When will it hit for the Newburgh area? Viola Russell, probably in the late afternoon. J.D. Rapp, what about McLeansboro? Hamilton County, Illinois, what time will I see severe weather? Well, you'll get it a little bit earlier than us, and in Hamilton County, at least the way the models are showing, you could see stuff as early as noon tomorrow, but it'll be moving north along the warm front. Paducah, McCracken County, right? Time and threat level. Well, Paducah is in the level 1 risk, and I would think Paducah being farther west, but a little farther south too, it would be earlier, say between 9 and noon. If it fires up down there, I think really it's going to be more up toward Mount Vernon and Centralia, farther north than Paducah. Timing for Gibson County, same as I mentioned there. In Princeton, I think Fonda wants to know. Yeah, so again, the timing is going to be highly dependent on how quickly that warm front lifts to the north, and then the cold front swings through behind. But we're looking at a window there, basically noon to about 8, where severe weather will be possible in some parts of the tri-state. So we talk about, you know, being prepared and not scared. This is part of that process, by the way, getting information, and then make sure you have a way to get updates, which would be the 14 First Alert app and so forth. During the alert day, which will be tomorrow, adjust your plans. You know, you might have to head out later or earlier or postpone something if you don't like driving in the storms. Like I said, it's not going to be one of these widespread, you know, outbreak type situations, which typically, if you listen to the way we describe it, or what we say messaging, we're looking at potential here, but not a certainty, and kind of widespread, okay, or scattered. Widespread, sometimes people, when they hear widespread, they think everybody's going to get it. Widespread, right? But what we mean and what we should say is scattered in nature. So yeah, there will be thunderstorms tomorrow, but not all of them will be severe. Let's see, and then what was the other thing? And then after the warning is issued, hopefully you know to take cover and all of those things. We talked last night about ways to get the warnings. Again, sirens are good only if you're outside. The First Alert weather app and NOAA weather radio are really the gold standards there for getting the information you need right from the source and right when we get it. What about Muhlenberg County? Christina J. Wedding. Well, Muhlenberg is sitting actually far south, obviously, and you're down even a little farther south than Laura Gray over there in Dawson Springs. So we're thinking it'll be scattered at best and maybe a few stronger thunderstorms in the evening. So after 4 p.m., 4 to 8 or 9 or something like that. Okay. And Hobstadt, we pretty much covered southwest Indiana here. First round in the early afternoon, second round in the evening after 4. So noon to 3, and then the second coming in sometime after 4. All right, will there be an upgrade tomorrow? Well, it's always possible. However, all the stuff that I looked at here this evening was still kind of on an even keel, and if anything, kind of trending weaker. Which would be nice, but again, I was only looking at a couple of model runs since the stuff I put on the air there at 4, 5, and 6. We will get updated severe weather outlooks overnight, like at 2 a.m. Michael Fecka will be in tomorrow morning with that on 14 News Sunrise and here on the stream at 8:30, and then Arden Gregory will have you at midday and or 11, and then streaming here at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. Actually, I'm streaming tomorrow at 2:30. Arden has a commitment, so she'll be on that, and then we'll both be here if needed tomorrow night. So that's the situation right now. I guess just to sum it up, we're not thinking this is going to be a big, widespread, horrible event, but there will be a few thunderstorms that will be capable of, bringing down trees or knocking out the power and things like that. So do be careful, don't blow it off, and make sure you have everything planned and you're paying attention to the weather tomorrow. I'll see you on 14 News at 10. Thanks so much for joining. Stay safe. Have a good night.